Giants fan, pardon me, all football fans, more importantly, Giants fans. We want to welcome you to another episode of Rush Hour Giants, all NFL fans. We took a little bit of break during the holidays, but we want to welcome you all back. And we know that all the Giants fans, at least, are very excited. Nikki, how are you feeling right now? Victory Monday.
I feel fan-friggin-tastic. Like, I put on Twitter that I was continuing my champagne party. Like, I drank a lot on New Year's Eve and had a couple bottles of champagne. Well, I didn't drink a couple bottles of champagne, but I had some left over. So we just kept going.
Hell yeah.
How do you not feel amazing today? If you're a hater, you probably are upset, but we all feel great.
Are you seeing that right now? Some fans are actually complaining that we won and we're going to lose a draft pick or something?
Yes, because we're going to lose a draft pick. Well, I got news for you. We were picking like 20th anyway, weren't we?
Yeah, we were projected to be 20th if the season ended last week.
Okay, so guess what, guys? We weren't going to get like this, generational talent at quarterback with like the 20th pick. So I don't know what you're so upset about. We're happy here. Just you could stay and like you're drinking your haterade. We're celebrating. We're drinking. Well, I'm drinking water. Nope. Yep. Out of our Astro Flav water bottle. There might, maybe it might be something else in there, but no, I'm happy. Spartan, I knew you were there yesterday. Yeah, there's champagne in here. What was it like yesterday? Was it like MetLife through the TV sounded like electric? Was it just like amazing to be around all that energy?
It was an incredible game because not only was there a lot of energy, there was also just a lot of happiness because the Giants were killing the Colts the entire time. As soon as that second quarter was over, I mean, it was like, look, I don't know if the Colts can come back from this one. And I think that was the difference. People were ecstatic, but I will be honest with you. It wasn't like I feel like the energy would have been a little different if the game was unfortunately close. And then there was like that Landon Collins pick six to win the game, right? Then we would have hit all-time noise levels. But because we were killing them so bad, it was more like we're all just happy, not too loud anymore. And we were just all chanting, go Jones, let's go playoffs, all that stuff. So it was a very, very fun experience to be there with the Giants family and to just enjoy the entire day. It was 55 degrees in the Meadowlands, too, in January.
I know. It was like 60 today. It was like 60 on Friday. So I'm cool with it. It could stay 60, all winter for me. But it just sounded so amazing. But I could see by the end of the game, I'm sure the energy dissipated a little bit. But I really loved how
fans left. Fans were already leaving the last couple minutes. So
were they? Of course. I mean, listen, I can't hate on them for that because traffic getting out, it's I hate when people hate on fans for leaving early. I mean, if the game is wrapped up, good or bad,
sure.
I don't know. Go ahead, try to get to the exit before everybody else. So I really like the way Brian Daboll took Daniel Jones out of the game. I thought that was a really classy move.
I'm with you. That was the right move to do. It was there to celebrate. Got to ask you a couple questions about the game.
Okay.
First thing about the game, who do you think played the best? Who surprised you? You're like, damn, they played good football today.
Well, surprising, I'm not surprised, but that defense was fired the F up. Usually I'm complaining about the defense every single week because I just feel like they make boneheaded mistakes and they're missing tackles. But I thought as a unit, they played really, really well. And how about Richie James? I mean, this is coming from the kid that I literally was watching him all camp and I'm like, he's not going to make this team. He just doesn't have it. And I've been super hard on him all season, and we both know he's had critical drops and talk about making boneheaded mistakes, but I think Richie James came up big. Daniel Jones, I'm sorry. This kid just does it all. He has put this team on his back. I can say, and I know that they played the Colts, but I hate that argument because you play whoever's on your schedule. I feel like all three units really showed up, and you could tell right from the first play. I was like, that's it. We're winning this game. They're so fired up. So I felt like everybody really did a decent job yesterday.
Right. I'm with you. Real quick, Joe Becker, welcome on in. Ruben Martinez, appreciate you coming through. I'm completely with you. And the one thing on Jones, he's had good games this year where it's lower stats, but he got the game-winning drive. Yesterday was exactly what we wanted to see out of Daniel Jones at some point this season. That was just the ball out. And that dude, 4 touchdowns, 2 of them on the ground, 2 of them in the air. I have never seen a Giants quarterback play like that in the stadium. I've seen Kerry Collins, obviously the Minnesota Vikings NFC Championship game 20 years ago. There's been games like that, but like just to completely dominate the field on the ground and in the air, I've never seen a quarterback for the Giants ever do that before.
No, and I mean, like he is athletic. I know people make fun of him because he tripped that one time, but I mean, he's a real athletic quarterback. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he's a Mahomes quarterback. He's not. We all know that, but he's a damn good quarterback. And I cannot understand. I saw so much hate on my timeline this morning, and I just like, I don't get it. What are you complaining about? Could you possibly be upset about now today? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Vanilla Vic. That's right. He is called Vanilla Vic.
There it is. And real quick, I mean, I like every team makes the same mistake. And real quick, because we'll veer on, we'll bring in our guest, but
yeah,
defenses never put a QB. The only team that did it and worked was Seattle, putting a QB spy on Daniel Jones. If you don't do that, he's gonna eat it up. He's gonna eat up the yards.
Yeah, and I mean, it was he was eating him up. I mean, it was just like having a field day out there. I have to tell you. So I made the playoffs in my fantasy football league, but not for, it was like, the consolation prize or whatever. So I had to roll with Daniel Jones and he got me 36 points. I mean, he had a monster freaking day yesterday. So I was happy about it. So I think his fantasy stock is going to go up next year. I think this kid deserves a contract. No, he's not going to get Pat Mahomes money or Lamar Jackson money, but he obviously deserves a contract. So fantasy stock is going up, value's going up, contract money's going up. I think, everything.
The Giants are trending up. That's what we love.
They're trending up. And did you see that the Giants are going to offer Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley a contract? They want to get it done.
They want to keep him.
Yeah.
Hopefully it comes through. I mean, we're hoping for the best here, We know that money might be an issue, that, somebody might offer X, they want Y. Hopefully it all comes through.
I hope so. I mean, like I said, like what is the option here? What do the free agents look like next year? Jimmy G, Tom Brady, who else?
I couldn't imagine Tom Brady coming here. Jimmy G, he's one of the options. It's just Carr might be available, but it's just one of those things where it's like, there's no guaranteed upgrade here. Like we're not getting Patrick Mahomes. So at this point,
no. Do you want Derek Carr? Would you want Derek Carr?
I don't think Derek Carr is any better than what Daniel Jones was, on non-explosive days. Still trying to prove himself. Again, it would want an upgrade in quarterback unless it like fell in our lap. Like it would have to be a prospect that Shane thinks is just going to take off, which probably won't happen. We have too late of a pick. Also, you have to develop a rookie. I think that's going to take too much time. And, Jones has done good enough to know that you certainly don't need one. So I am, and then when it comes to free agency, no, there's nobody available that's better than Jones right now.
No, but maybe we will get ourselves a wide receiver. Yeah.
We need help at wide receiver. If you or your friends know anybody that plays wide receiver, please call the Giants front office.
Oh, please, before the whole rush crew has to get out there. I feel like Craig will be
Craig was a receiver back in the day.
Yes. All right. We have any guests lined up, ready to go? I think we got a couple.
We have Mal from Twitter. Mal, how are you going? Thank you for waiting. We appreciate your patience in the back room there.
No problem. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Mal, I'm so excited. And for you guys who don't know or you want to follow Mal, she is at Mal Talks NYG. I know sometimes we only know people by like our social media handles. So I'm so excited that you decided to come on and join us. Are you so happy, so friggin' excited today?
I am beyond happy today. Today was definitely a great day. It's been a long time. I've been a Giant fan for a super long time, at least 25 years now. Nice. So it feels good. Feels good to get back on that winning train.
Did you watch at home yesterday or did you go to the game?
Yeah, I watched at home yesterday. I went to 2 games this season, the Ravens game and the Commanders tie. The Ravens game was actually a lot better, of course. But I'm glad we came on top of Washington the second time.
Oh, man, I went to the Ravens game. Next time I have to just put PSA out on Twitter. Like, I'm at this game. Let's find each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I met a lot of people that day.
Because Nikki's husband is actually a Baltimore Ravens fan. So it was a no-brainer you guys were going to that one.
So
right?
is my boyfriend.
So when
Really?
you guys fight,
Yeah.
does he just like bring up the Super Bowl and you're like, that's it, we're done, like that, you know?
Yeah, no, actually, he's a recent Ravens fan. I'd say within the last 2 or 3 years, so he wasn't around for that time, like to support them. But sometimes it does get a little heated, but he knows there's boundaries there.
Yeah, certain lines that you can't cross, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel watching the game? Do you feel like this team is going to make a serious push in the postseason, or do you feel like they got one and done vibes written all over them?
No, and I was actually talking to my boyfriend about this because he knows a lot about Wink, with Wink being Ravens' old defensive coordinator. I really do think that Wink's scheme is looking very similar to Spagnuolo's scheme back when we won that 08 Super Bowl.
Right.
I think that we got some guys that are really able to push and really able to hold it down. I think we can make a really good run as long as we play clean football, keep Richie James balling out, Daniel Jones balling out, keep the ball on the ground with Saquon, making sure we don't have any stupid turnovers. As long as we could keep that going, I think we could put together a solid push. I'm
with you because honestly, I looked at us playing Minnesota a couple weeks ago. This is why I'm very excited. It looks like we'll play Minnesota in the playoffs no matter what. Mm-hmm. I think if San Francisco wins, Minnesota loses. That's the only thing that could flip that. But I thought we were the better team 2 weeks ago, and it just came down to a couple stupid mistakes. We played better football. We were marching down the field, but Bellinger turnover, Richie James drops. I mean, those are the things that cost us the game. Then of course we lost on a 63-yard field goal. I mean, and honestly, that guy would have made that from like 70 yards.
Absolutely, he was on it. He was locked in.
So you feel like, we're Minnesota, they're beatable. What, they score 3 points yesterday?
Yeah, three.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel confident. Listen, of course, it's, you never know. It's any given day, any given Sunday. But given, the opponents we could get, I feel like the Vikings, we really do stand a chance getting past them.
Oh, absolutely. And I also, like you said, I think they're beatable. I think that if we play clean football, if we, get to Kirk Cousins with Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon, and we could keep that going, I think that we could definitely stop them.
Now, what are your thoughts on Evan Neal? I know everybody's giving him a hard time, and we sit here on the Giants guys and constantly are like, listen, Andrew Thomas had a really bad rookie year too. I'm of the belief, and I think Spartan is too, and most of us on the Giants guys, that, he'll get it together. I felt like yesterday, hey, we didn't hear his name called, right? So maybe, the game's starting to come to him a little bit. I think the game is a little too fast for him. And you have to remember he was coming back off injury. So how do you feel? Are you in this, like, he's a bust camp, or is it more, let's give him a little bit more time?
Yeah, no, I absolutely don't think he's a bust. I agree with Ruben. I think Evan Neal played a lot better yesterday, significantly better than how we've seen him playing. Mm-hmm. I think that if anyone's going to help him succeed, it's going to be Brian Daboll and that coaching staff. I think it'll be, Daniel Jones and the rest of the line that, empowers him and elevates him. I think he just got off onto a really rocky start, like you said, same thing with Andrew Thomas in his rookie season. And I think that he'll really put it together soon. I think next season will be significantly better. I don't know if he'll necessarily be like the booming player that we want to see just yet. I think as time goes on, we'll be way more confident with Neal.
Yeah, I think he just needs time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Seems like this expectation is like, you're drafted, get out there, let's go. You can't have any, rookie mistakes or anything like that. And it just doesn't always work that way. I mean, let the kid.
Zach Wilson, with Zach Wilson, even though he's not a rookie this year, but he's still relatively young in the league and he's still having a lot of struggles. I think that, it's along those lines, but I think that if we give Neal the benefit of the doubt and let him work, and trust Daboll and trust, everybody on that coaching staff and the team itself, that he'll be a lot better moving forward.
Because he's got the run blocking down, especially. I mean, that's one thing that he really excels at. He had a terrific block yesterday in the game. But it's the pass block, and he's got to work on the footwork. And we knew that coming out of Alabama, too. So there's going to be some work to be done, but I'm confident they can switch that one over.
Absolutely, I agree.
Work in progress is okay. Let's talk about our neighbors. Let's talk about the Jets. This morning I thought our fans are bad. I mean, they are just calling for, like, get rid of everybody, kick Robert Saleh out of town. Like, I mean, what do you guys think? Are they overreacting? I tend to think it's more of like they have a quarterback issue that needs to get sorted, not so much a coaching issue. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Salah is a great coach. I think getting rid of him would be a step in the wrong direction because realistically, you never know who you're going to get. And I see a lot of Jet fans calling for like Sean Payton, but they do also have to realize that these guys need to be paid a significant amount, and they'll still have to pay out Salah's contract. So that wouldn't be anything that I would think that they should do. I think the quarterback problem is very real. I think the offensive line problem is also very real, and I think there's also some culture issues within the locker room that need to be addressed. I think that's really where it needs to start, is once they get a leader who can actually lead that offense. I think a lot of things will start to fall into place because they have some great rookies on that team. Garrett Wilson, Quentin Williams, Sauce Gardner, like all of them are just stellar players. And I'm hoping that they do put it together because it's been a long time for Jet fans too.
Right. And although I don't care about them particularly, but I do feel bad for the Jets fans. I mean, it's tough when your team is constantly disappointing you, but you're right. I do feel like they have a lot of talent on that team. They're a QB ready team. If they can, I mean, that's a good place for a guy like Derek Carr to go to, I feel like. Do you think there's a chance they might sign Derek Carr or Jimmy G?
I think Jimmy G would be more than, like the percentage would be more than Derek Carr. Only because I think other teams will probably get to Carr first. I don't think Jets will necessarily go for him first. I think they're going to go for players like free agents like Lamar, Jimmy G, potentially Aaron Rodgers. I think that they're going to focus on that like set of veterans. But I do think it is a possibility they do sign Carr. I think they're in a really bad way when it comes to that position, and they're really looking for anybody that can be a game manager for them and can be a leader in the locker room, and that's really what they need right now.
Totally.
Speaking of Lamar, all right, so he's been out how many games now? 3, 4?
I think it's 4. Yeah, 4.
He missed 6 last year. What do you guys think this is doing for his contract? Is his stock just going up? Because again, what do we have? The last 50 seconds and the Ravens blow it again. Like they just, Huntley's like, all right. I think he's serviceable sometimes. He is no Lamar Jackson. So is Lamar missing time and his injuries, is that hurting his contract, or is he, by him not being there, is he just proving his value even more?
I think it's proving his value a little bit more because I think it's showing to Harborough and like the fans that like Lamar really is the face of that franchise. He really is the one who keeps them, moving forward, who wins them games. And don't get me wrong, he struggled a little bit with the injuries and, sometimes in the passing game. But I do think that it would be a huge mistake for the Ravens not to re-sign Lamar. Yeah. I do think that a lot of teams are going to want him, specifically Miami, if everything doesn't work out with Tua. I think it'll drive it up. I think a lot of people are going to want him next year. And I think someone, at least maybe even 2 teams, will offer him what he wants.
And how does your boyfriend feel about that, the idea of losing Lamar?
He's kind of on the fence about it because he's kind of on the thought of like, if Lamar really doesn't want to be here and he does get a good opportunity with another team where like they will appreciate him a little bit more, he's okay with him going. But of course, as a Ravens fan, he wants Lamar there, wants to keep him there. Yeah. And I completely agree with him. I think that they should keep him there. And if they don't, they'll have a hard time finding someone to replace him.
Yeah, although it is the Ravens, they do an incredible job of finding talent, though. I mean, it's the one thing they always seem to exceed on. They'll get 5th-round picks and consistently hit on those guys. Meanwhile, the Giants, the entire 2010s decade, could never hit on anybody drafted after day 1.
I know. They are really, really good at finding talent. I think no matter what, the Ravens will always figure it out. They've been in the playoffs consistently for what I can remember. They're pretty solid franchise there. So I don't think they'll have any problems finding another talent. I just think losing Lamar would be definitely a sting next year for them. And having them rebuild that whole position, with all the other guys up front, I think they'll struggle a bit there.
I hear you. So now in the whole grand scheme of things, and real quick, and then I'll move on. We're gonna cycle through all of our guests. And again, thank you for coming on. And
of course.
But let's talk about playoffs a little bit. I mean, just the whole playoff picture. There's actually a lot of good new teams in it. Are you pretty excited for the playoffs this year? Obviously, the Giants are in it. We'll probably play Minnesota, which is where we want them. I'd rather do that than San Francisco. I don't feel comfortable with that.
I agree.
What are your thoughts on the playoffs as a whole? And who's your favorite to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I am really excited for the playoffs. I think the game that surprisingly I'm most excited for is the Bucs versus Dallas, because I think that one's going to be a lot closer than people think. I don't think anyone should underestimate Brady, and I think Dallas has a few weak spots that could be capitalized on. But my favorite to win the Super Bowl this year is actually the Bengals. They look really good. That T. Higgins, Jamar Chase combo is just locked in. Joe Burrow's playing some really great football. I think it'll be close I think it'll actually be them and the Niners in the Super Bowl. And I think that Cincinnati will come on top of that one.
For sure. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It's tough to predict this year. I mean, AFC's a wild card. I think Buffalo's going to want it the most, though, because they're the ones that are been a consistent team the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they have the most hunger to show up to a Super Bowl for the first time in a long time. But again, Mal, thank you so much for coming through here. Appreciate your time. Giants fans, if you don't follow her on Twitter, Mal, what's your handle again? It's I'm drawing a blank.
No, it's okay. It's at Mal Talks NYG.
Mal Talks NYG. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mal. Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck to the Giants. Obviously, good luck to your boyfriend with the Ravens. Hope they turn something up here.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely. Take care. All right, guys. Nikki's having Wi-Fi issues right now, so we'll keep this going until throughout here, because we got our next guest right here. We got Evan. Evan, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, Mike? How's it going tonight? Happy Victory Monday.
Hey, happy Victory Monday. Obviously, Nikki's not here to do like that official introduction. So, Evan, tell me about yourself. Obviously, you've worked pretty close with Nikki in the past, and tell us about what you do, man.
Yeah, currently right now, just kind of on hiatus. I work for Channel Side Sports down here in the Tampa Bay, Florida region. Nikki and I did a fantasy football betting type show called Channel Side Bets for the for the NFL season right now. We're on a hiatus right now, so I'm kind of like free agent mode, like a lot of guys in the off season are going to be. So I'm kind of like doing guest spots all over the place. So yeah, it's fun to be on the show, man. I'm a little disappointed, Nikki. She has Wi-Fi issues sometimes. I don't know if they're real Wi-Fi issues, so hopefully she can get back on the show.
Listen, on this show, man, we got a lot of people everybody has like a % chance of having a Wi-Fi issue. My Wi-Fi was a little spotty. We had Kurt Warner on the show, and mine kind of sucked that day. Everybody, I'm not going to say who has the worst, but Nikki has consistently been the best. I will say that. I've never seen her have a
It's the one show I come on, and she has Wi-Fi issues.
But that's all right. Let's talk some fantasy, man. So how many leagues are you in, Evan?
So I'm in approximately 3. That's down from the 6 I was doing at one point in time. But
that sounds expensive.
Yeah, it was a little bit at the time. So I'm in 3. I first year doing Dynasty, which is a new beast. And then I'm in a redraft, 2 redraft leagues this year as well. So I'm in 3.
All right. Real quick, the party has re-arrived. Nikki, you are back in.
I'm back. Sorry.
You were gone. Me and Evan just became best friends.
So you're off the show, Nikki. So I'm taking over now.
All right. We're taking over. That's what Evan does. Takes over.
I was telling Mike, the one show I'm on, you have Wi-Fi issues, and then you're not even on the show.
I know. I never do. But you come on and look what happens.
Yeah. Well, I was telling him, you always have the best Wi-Fi. Mine wasn't really good the day we had Kurt Warner on the show, and I was so pissed about that. And then, everybody else has like a % chance of how crappy their Wi-Fi is. And you're like top of the line, best Wi-Fi you can get. Like whatever you're on, people should buy it. But obviously tonight's not a good advertising.
Yeah, today's not a good. It's because Evan was coming on. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. It's the southern part of Florida. We always bring the trouble.
I know. Wait, so the Bucks. Are you happy or sad?
I'm kind of indifferent right now. Of course, yesterday was a much-needed victory out of the Buccaneers against Carolina. Now, look, beating the Carolina Panthers, it's a yay, but their defense is not. It's not that bad. So coming through with this victory and I would say putting enough points on the board to get that victory was a win-win going into the playoffs, because that gives this team, which has so many holes in it throughout this whole year. And Nikki, we've talked about it on Channel Side Bets, with the offensive line has been an issue all year because of injuries, and guys haven't been playing up to their speed, up to their potential on this team all year. Brady's been out of sync all year long too. So this was one of the most complete games we've seen the Bucks maybe play offensive wise. So that's a good showing going forward into the playoffs. Now, Todd Bowles did come out saying he's not going to rest any starters going into Week 18 playing Atlanta, which I think is a bad idea, but we'll see how much of that is true going into this game against the Falcons. But I think going into the playoffs, it's a good confidence booster. Now, everybody on social media today was saying, okay, Brady's in the playoffs. Now it's playoff mode Brady, so look out.
Yeah.
So, I'm at this point in time with this team. It's like, look, if they get bounced in the first round against Dallas, and I think I agree with your guest before me I think it is going to be a closer game than what everybody thinks it's going to be. But if they're bounced in the first round, I think it's not going to be a shocker to everybody because of the way the Bucs have been playing all season long. So if that's the way Brady maybe wants to go out, that's up to him. But I think with the issues that they have, it's almost as if they are going in as the underdog going into this playoff.
Dallas does play crappy football, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
they do. Lucky for you, Dallas sucks
they do.
in the postseason. So
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Lucky for us. But I mean, nothing gets me happier than seeing a bunch of whiny Cowboys fans after they get ousted in the playoffs, as they have done for as many seasons since. They keep hanging on to that. Oh, we've won 3 champions. Well, that was in the 90s when a lot of people now, their fans weren't even born yet. So
tell you what, I am closer to collecting ARP than I am to my actual birth date, and I was born after the Giants' last Super Bowl.
They're all Giants fans or Cowboys fans are almost like Yankees fans. They have to hang on to those championships because they have nothing else to hang on to. We've got 27
bring Yankees fans into it.
Whoa,
I have to do
this
it.
is like a New York-based show, right?
Yeah.
Listen, let me just clarify to everybody.
Half our audience just left
like
the room.
Tampa-based, but whoa.
I like to ruffle feathers, especially when it comes to New York fans.
It's
all
I
good.
know.
All good.
All right, well, let's get into the playoff teams. Did you guys talk about that while I dropped or no?
No, we did not get into that at all.
All right,
no.
Let's get into it. Let's look at the AFC. So we got Chiefs, Bills. The seeding is locked except for the AFC North, right?
Yes, Buffalo hasn't clinched the division
Not
just yet. Not yet.
Possibly tonight, right?
Possibly tonight, yes.
Bengals, Chargers, Ravens. In the hunt, Jacksonville, Patriots. On the bubble, Miami, Steelers, and Titans.
Look, you guys might call me crazy. And I'm from the central, middle part of Florida where the Bucs are. But I think the Jags might be that dark horse team that shocks a lot of people in this playoff.
I don't think you're crazy. I said in the summer that I thought they were going to have a good season. I thought Doug Peterson was the right coach and that he was going to get all of this out of Trevor Lawrence. Now, Spartan, how pissed are you? I'm still pissed that Ingram's having a good year. Like, where was this? What the F?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I felt like he had so many bad years with us that he almost was probably looking forward to that fresh start anyway. And, he probably had it in him the whole time to be good, but his headspace must have been so negative towards the end there with Giants. But the fans had a right to be pissed. I mean, he was dropping balls consistently, but I think it kept snowballing from there of, the pressure and everything like that. So he needed a new place, and why not go to Jacksonville where fans don't care one bit?
That's very true. That's very true.
They got a pool in their stadium, right?
They do.
They do.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go into that pool though.
That's the thing. When the camera pans to that pool, I'm always kind of like, that grosses me out a little bit.
Nikki, that pool is like the equivalent of a hot tub in the 1970s. There's lots of things still living in that thing. So
how do you know?
I've heard things.
It looks like your Wi-Fi's cut out again.
That's all right. But again, I'd be a little worried, down in Florida there. Talk about the nature of Florida itself. I mean, it's a big football state because you got almost every NFL player goes to high school there, it seems like, right? 50-50, I think. College, Florida, Miami, Florida State. It's a whole different animal. So many national titles from all those programs combined. And then NFL. Feels like that's the only area where it felt like it was lagging for a while. But, of course, the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. They're second in the century. For the state of Florida, would you say Buccaneers now dominate more so than Miami in terms of the presence of their fans?
I definitely think so, too. I think Miami's kind of been just in shambles for obviously the Bucs have too. I mean, the Bucs have their fan base where, it's half of the people don't show up and, half of them are out of towners that are almost dominate the fan base there at some games. But now that's kind of been flipped because, 2 years ago, Tom Brady came to town, brought everybody with him, and then we won the Super Bowl. So, it's fun while it lasted. I do think Tampa has really a hold on that right now. I'm really I Miami really excites me. I think what Mike McDaniel's doing down there is really good. And with the core of players that they have on there, I think they have so much more room to grow, especially in the years ahead. The Bucs are going to be in shambles next year. Let's be honest with you. After Brady leaves or wherever he goes, they're in cap hell. They've got a bunch of guys on 1-year deals, which are going to be free agents next season. And you look, you guys need a wide receiver. Chris Godwin is probably going to be available for some money for you guys.
I'll take Godwin. I don't take Godwin at this point.
So we'll see what happens next year. I mean, they've got guys that are probably going to be gone after Brady leaves. And then we don't know what's going to go on with the coaching staff, too. I mean, Byron Leftwich, has been brought up in names about being fired. And then Todd Bowles is, ever since they haven't had we're 8-8. That's not really. Look, you're coming off of a Super Bowl win 2 years ago, and then you went to the NFC Championship last year. I mean, that's not really a good showing in your first year coaching with. You have the keys to the castle handed over to you by Bruce Arians. Now, obviously, the uncontrollables happen throughout the season with injuries and everything, but, they haven't been playing up to where they should be. So there's so many questions going into this offseason about what this team is going to be doing. Will they get back? I mean, obviously, the NFC South is a dumpster fire of a division. Now, we used to call the NFC East the NFC least because you guys were like that for a very long time.
Right. We were very bad there late 2010s.
Right. And now it's been flipped. You guys have a great division. All the teams are great. But now the NFC South has been a dumpster fire where if, Brady comes back and stays, maybe they'll be division champs again. But it's going to be – there's lots of questions going into the offseason that, need to be answered hopefully pretty soon.
Well, real quick, because I want to get to that, but I did see something that was interesting the other day, and I realized every NFC South team has made the Super Bowl since 2009. Every single one has cycled through at one point. Now, I think only the Buccaneers – oh, well, no, it's the Saints 1 and 2. But you actually look at the NFC East, which I know has more history and everything like that. But, I mean, our Washington and Dallas, even though Dallas has had really good regular season games or seasons – they haven't made the Super Bowl respectively since the 90s. So, it is interesting to note that we don't think of, NFC South as always being consistent, but there's a lot of interchange there, it feels like, in given years.
Right.
And the last couple of years, obviously, in Tampa. You guys, I mean, look, I know you guys, might not be going down the right path, a great path here. But would you not say it's all worth it for a Super Bowl? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Right. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's what everybody wants is a Super Bowl. And, to win one 2 years ago, which we haven't won one in a very long time, that's a win-win for me. And, I tell a lot of people on the shows I'm on, it's like, Bucs fans, you have to enjoy the good times because they're about to get pretty bad here after like Brady's gone and all these guys are gone, because that's just the way the nature of the beast is. And it's like, look, get ready to go back to either mediocrity or being back in this cellar of the NFC South, because that's where it's probably headed after this season. So, but look, thank you, Tom Brady, for giving us the Super Bowl championship. Yeah. I love it. The Super Bowl was in Tampa too. You win it in town, which was fantastic as well. So what more could you ask for? I mean, to be honest with you, I think Brady should have maybe retired either after that game or after the NFC Championship game last season, because just this season with all the baggage that he has off the field.
Well, his personal life, I mean, he wrecked it by staying back an extra year. And, it's very interesting that knack that he has to just compete. Because quite honestly, I mean, I just feel like, I would look back and say I got seven rings.
Right.
I'm the greatest of all time. I got all the money I could ever ask for, and I'm not even the breadwinner. Why would he come back? But I didn't realize. I mean, the dude hasn't been with his family on Christmas in 20 years.
There she is.
Hey, Nikki.
It also goes to pose the question too. It's like, how much and what more do you have to prove? Because he's really come out and said, I have no like thought of retiring, so that he could play until he's, in a walker or in a wheelchair until he's broken down. That's the funny thing. And we don't know if he's going to be staying in Tampa next year. He could be going to Las Vegas, which Las Vegas, has hinted maybe they want, him reunited with Josh McDaniel, or, hey, he's maybe take a 1-year deal and go up to New England and have a reunion with Bill Belichick for maybe his final season. So there's many places where he can go that are quarterback needy.
I hear you. Speaking of a potentially quarterback needy team, we got Rio in here. Rio is a big Commanders fan that came on through a couple weeks ago. And he, big fun. I actually do love Washington fans. They're good people because, we always dealt with Eagles fans that are just obnoxious, in the Northeast. And I feel bad for the Commanders. I feel bad that their mascot is a pig with a war helmet. Like,
I also feel bad for them that their owner is just a very terrible human being.
He's so incompetent.
Yes. But yeah, I like the Commanders. I think they're like maybe a piece away from really going all the way. I mean, they have just so many questions at the quarterback position. If it's going to be Heineke, is it going to be Wentz? It's like you got to pick one and roll with it. So right now, the game on Sunday, they were booing Carson Wentz. Okay, now do you go back to Taylor Heineke? Or what do you do in the offseason? Do you bring in a vet or do you go draft your future quarterback? So they're pieces. They're like a couple pieces away for being like a really good football team.
I hear you. They always seem to get the talent, but it's like the one thing they've never figured out in the last 2 decades is the quarterback problem.
Right.
And that kills. But anyway, yeah, real quick. I mean, I'm going to cycle through. We got one more guest that I want to bring on here, Evan. But do you have any, how can people follow you on social media? Again, give one last summary of your platform, because I definitely want to follow you now.
Sure. You can follow me on Twitter at the L Bushman. That's the and then L Bushman right there, all stuck together on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram, Facebook I barely use, so Twitter's the main machine to go on and follow me. Right now, like I said, I'm just kind of like a podcast host free agent right now. So I have no content to be pushing out yet. So I'm just kind of like on the Twitter machine, just kind of doing my thing. So yeah.
No, sounds good. Well, hey, tell you what, good luck to your Buccaneers this year. We're all hoping you guys beat the Cowboys. I mean, we'd be stoked.
I'm hoping so, and I'm rooting for the Giants. I mean, I think what Daboll has really done is really turned around the team, and I think going forward, hopefully Daniel Jones is your guy, because it's been a long time since you guys have had a franchise quarterback. So
long time. You're damn right. But all right, hey, appreciate you once more. Have a great night, and Happy New Year.
Thanks for having the show, man.
Take care, Evan. All right, guys. Again, Nikki's got Wi-Fi issues. Unfortunately, this stuff happens. We don't get the luxurious equipment to go live and everything like that. But sometimes this happens. But again, she has the steadiest Wi-Fi. Mine sucks usually. Unfortunately, tonight's not the night. But we're gonna bring on one more guest, just kind of shoot it through. We'll talk a little bit, and then if anybody else wants to hop on through. Kelly, what is going on? I know you've been waiting in the back room. It's good to have you on, my friend.
Yeah, you too. It's good to hear you or talk to you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you all right. It's a little bit staticky. Sounds like a TV in the 90s. It's not quite getting signal.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll know for next time. Maybe I'll hook something up here. But no, I like following you, Mike, and I seen you went to the game.
Yeah.
This weekend. Yeah, it must have been great, was it?
Absolutely incredible. I mean, that was the most proud I've been of the Giants since. I mean, I guess 2016 they played Dallas, owned Dallas that year, and made the playoffs. I guess that's technically the last time I would have felt this, but there was something special about how long it's been, how long we've been deeply suffering, like just complete shit show.
Yeah, I know.
No. We're the losingest team in football the last 5 years. Come out and make the playoffs ahead of schedule.
Yeah, no, and it's just awesome to see the team finally blooming. Like, I think they're going to get better too. Like, I want to be optimistic, and I find the play calling is just really, I think it really makes everybody confident too.
Right.
Like, yeah, like it's just a treat to see to see it, like you said, and it's just great. And what do you think of Daniel's play?
Well, I mean, yesterday was, or 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday. So I've been up since 3:30 this morning because my flight just came back into Chicago. His play yesterday was phenomenal. I mean, again, he's been doing great eye level all season. Driving the ball, getting, finishing the games, everything like that, and delivering when we need him to. I definitely want to see one game, a couple games here and there where he balled out with numbers. In terms of touchdowns, but I know that's really hard because his wide receivers aren't very good. And yesterday he took advantage of that the Colts team. And the Colts have a good defense. They have a good defense. That was a good defense. I'm tired of hearing that they're a downtrodden team. That's true, but their defense was actually pretty steady. And Daniel Jones single-handedly tore them apart on the run and in the air, and it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I had a guy on Twitter today saying to me, well, it's the Colts, but I mean, just like you said, they got a really good defense, and the Giants really, made good work of it.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm from Canada, by the way, so I did.
All right.
Yeah. Did you say you live in Chicago or?
Yeah, I live in real quick. Nikki, can you hear us? We can just try to add you on. I know you're on your cell phone here.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, the star of the show is back.
Oh my God. I am so sorry, everybody. I
Don't
guess
apologize.
that,
What happened?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to call Verizon. Damn you, Verizon Fios.
Yeah. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good. My name's Kelly, and I follow you too on Twitter.
Yes, I recognize you. I'm glad
Yeah,
you
right
joined the
on.
show. I'm sorry my
Yeah.
Wi-Fi sucks today.
No, well, at least you can, it's good to talk to you anyway, though. And it's just, everything's all good when the Giants win anyway. Like, everything's great today.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. Kelly,
Yeah.
real quick, you said you're from Canada, so where in Canada are you from?
Have you ever heard of a place called Prince Edward Island?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're about as far east as it gets. You're actually not even in
Yeah.
the Eastern U.S. time zone, are you?
Yeah, like I'm on the Atlantic time zone. Like the late games, I think you guys start watching them at 8:15. Me, it's 9:15.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay awake for them, but
So
I
if
mean,
Monday Night Football goes into overtime, you're
I'm
walking
done.
work.
Yeah, no, but it's really a pleasure though. Following you is like, I
Yeah,
find you are real knowledgeable about football and the Giants, and the Giants just when they're not doing good, the NFL is not the same to me.
I'm with you.
You know.
We're both with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It feels better. Mondays feel better. Victory Monday feels great.
Yeah.
And we're in the playoffs. Yeah, it's been a long time since, we felt like this. So, and how about the NFC East just in general? I mean, went from like bottom of the barrel to now sent 3 teams to the postseason.
Oh, it's awesome. It's really awesome. Yeah, it's like that whole division, I always liked it. But of course, I'm a Giants fan, but like I always found that it kind of sucked for a while there, but it's sure not that way now. Like
No.
it's really, the Cowboys are strong. And what do you guys think about this weekend? Do you think they should sit? Like, I think they should probably maybe sit Barkley and Jones, or maybe just play them for a half, but it's kind of a hard call.
Part of me feels like keep the momentum going, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just they had such great momentum yesterday. And then, another part of me is like, rest the starters. We don't want to risk an injury, God forbid. So Brian Dable said in his press conference today that he's just going to take it day by day. As we all know, Daniel Jones gave the team off tomorrow. So
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
see. He hasn't made an official statement on if he's resting players or not. I don't anticipate him to actually come out and say anything of that nature. Not yet anyway. So, in coach speak, it's just kind of like, we'll see how it goes basically. But yeah, I'm kind of torn. Of course, you don't want to take any risk with injuries, but on the same time, it's like,
Yeah.
is this team getting hot at the right time? Which is
Yeah.
kind of laughable when you look at the roster, but they're
Yeah.
kind of feeling themselves right now.
Well, exactly. And I'd like to be optimistic too. Like if they get the Vikings, who knows, maybe like I think they can handle the Vikings.
Yeah.
And we might see
saying
something.
that, yeah.
We might see something then that kind of escalates us to another level. Like, oh, geez, they're playing. Like I think the ceiling is still high for them. I think they're just getting better and better.
They're heating up. Like the offense's productivity has picked up the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And that's what you want going to the playoffs. Real quick, we had Kawaka Mitchell on the show back in, I think it was March or February or March. And he talked about, because, Giants in 2007, the defense actually started out pretty bad. They played Dallas, they played Green Bay, gave up like 8 games combined. But they had a new defense coordinator in Spags. And what they did was, as the season went on, they improved. They got their groove. They figure out what's working and what doesn't. And that's what makes a great team. And, I know we went 10-6, but at the end of the day, they consistently improved. And I'm feeling that out of Kafka right now, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, I find the confidence in the play calling. Like I watch Baldy breakdowns and you can just see that they're doing things with a methodical approach to it. And I mean, I'm sure they were doing stuff like that before, but it seems like it's just working better now, It's really good.
Hey, just real quick, I want to do a shout out because Tudo, our friend in Italy, who's a follower of the show and always comes through.
I can, shove off here too.
No. He's not coming through, but he just wants me to make a quick statement. He is coming into Philadelphia in the next week with all of his buddies who play rugby in Italy. And for any Giants fans out there that are going in, be sure to hit Tudo up because he's only in here in the States every so often. I know he lived in Jersey for a piece of time, but I just want to give a quick shout out because he's going to be with his rugby buddies flying in from Italy and unfortunately going to Philadelphia.
Oh, going to the link, huh, Tuto? Oh, man.
Not vacation material, in my opinion, but again, dedicated Giants fan Tudo. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Are you from New Jersey, Nikki?
Yes, I am. Right.
Yeah.
I actually grew up in the town. You ever watch the show Jersey Shore?
I don't, but I heard of it for sure.
All right. Well, that town, that's where I grew up. So.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes.
So do you live not far from like the Giant Stadium or in that?
So I'm about 45 minutes from Giant Stadium. So
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm not.
And Mike lives in Chicago.
Yes, exactly. My parents are from Staten Island. That's how I became a Giants fan. And I still grew up where Trenton, New Jersey is, right around that area. So easy right up to the Meadowlands.
Yeah, right on. No, well, it's a pleasure talking to you. It's great, and I can let you go if you have more guests.
I mean, we're kind of working through. Obviously, we got to move on because we're actually down to the last 10 minutes here, Kelly.
Yeah.
But real quick, I just want to ask. I mean, fantasy football. Do you play it at all?
What's that? No, I don't play fantasy football. I don't. I probably should, but I just too much into the Giants, I guess.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It tends to ruin it sometimes when you're in these leagues,
and
I'm like
conflict of interest.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh man, I need Devonta Smith to have a big game, but I'm torn because I hate the Eagles. Right. So it really, you know what? You're better off. You're better off not playing.
Yeah, well, nice of you to say that, but if you guys are into it, that's great.
Yeah, no, we are heartbreaking all. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I apologize for my Wi-Fi connection. Hopefully next week I'm back up and running and you can join us again.
Okay. Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure and have a nice evening.
Thank you, Kelly, for your time. Nikki, we are representing all over North America and Europe right now. Mark in Barbados. He's in Princeton, Rhode Island in Canada. He's further east than Maine. Like I'm trying to think of what that drive would be like. And then Tudo's in Italy. This is awesome. I love Giants. I love the family on here. And of course, Rio's down in Washington, I'm sure.
Yeah, yes, he is. Spartan, we can say we have an international show.
We have an international show. That's right.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Giants family is amazing. Just the NFL family in general, right? I mean, what did we had Tampa Bay in the house, and we got everybody in
Washington.
The house.
We get everybody coming through here.
We get everybody.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Do you want to peek ahead to next week?
Let's do it. This is let's just do the spreads. We'll go through that real quick. But this is a very tough week because we don't know who's playing hard yet. I know they already gave the Eagles 14 points, which is ridiculous in my opinion.
Wait, did they? Oh my gosh!
They're 14, and I'm trying to figure it out. They already had they have insight as to what the Giants are going to do. I mean, and that might.
I mean, I don't know. It's so funny. I'm always sitting here like, what does Vegas know? And I mean this in reference particularly to the Raiders and 49ers game last night, because I think it was 1.5. But like Vegas knows best. But 14 points. I mean, here's the thing. If everybody plays and they play with that momentum that they played with yesterday against the Colts, I don't think it's a 14-point swing. Do you?
No, I don't think it's a 14-point swing. And I don't even know if they put their backups in. It's a 14-point swing. Because the problem is that the Eagles are playing with nerves right now, and I don't think that's really going to do them that well. And if they're rushing Jalen Hurts back, I think that's going to do them even worse.
Yeah. No, I don't think the Eagles cover this. So, I give me the Giants in the 14.
All right. Sounds good. So that's the first one. How about we do Monday Night Football real quick? Tonight. Bills, Bengals. The spread is 2.5. What are you taking?
Oh my God. I can't wait for this game. Well, I'm definitely taking the over. It's 51, right?
Yes, 51 over. Sorry, I went right for that spread
No,
there.
no,
with the
you're
Bills
good.
and
You're
the,
good.
Bills.
You know what? I'm gonna take the Bengals in the 2.5, and I like the Bengals
Ooh,
straight
all
up,
right.
and I like the over.
All right, there's the money bet right there. They're
Yep.
underdogs right now, and they're going to straight out win. I love it.
Yep. That's what I'm going for.
All right,
That's what I'm
Kansas
going
City, 9.5 favorites over Las Vegas, and the over/under is 53 points.
3. Yeah, let me God, I don't know. See, that's the thing with the Raiders. Like sometimes they come and they ball out, and sometimes they do nothing and they have no offense. I'm
And
gonna
there's
take
no
the
in between.
I'm gonna lay the 9. Yeah.
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 All right.
Lay the 9 there. See, now they jump to like Tennessee, Jackson. Why is it always out of order? You see how it goes to 8:15? Well, no, you guys can't see our screen, but
Yeah, are you on Bovada right now? That's what I'm using for the look
no,
ahead here.
DraftKings.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They
Titans Jaguars. It's the next one on my list too here. Jaguars 6.5 favorite over the Titans. That's a lot for a divisional game. Like for with this on the line, that's a lot of points, but I understand the circumstances there. And then over under 38.5, not that many points.
It's because the Titans can't really score. I don't know. I feel like Jacksonville's gonna have a nice game. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go Jacksonville, and give me Tennessee in the 6.5 though.
Tennessee in the 6.5. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Panthers, Saints. Saints are favored by 3.5. I keep forgetting they're not really that good of a team. It takes me a second to like get it out of my head that they're not good anymore. I always look at them and just think of Drew Brees and Sean Payton, but anyway, nonetheless, they're 3.5 point favorites over Carolina, and then the over under for that one is 41.5.
Let's see. You know what? Are the Saints gonna score points? That's the thing. They've had games where they score like 3 points.
Right.
Let's see. Give me Carolina 3.5, and I'm gonna go slightly over. Not over by much.
All right. Fair enough. Browns, Steelers. Steelers are favored by 3 points. The over under is 39.
I like the under. Especially given just how this division plays. I'm going to take the under, and I'll lay the 3.
All right. Lions, Packers. Packers are favored by 4.5, which will get them into the playoffs if they pull this victory off. Same thing with the Lions, although I think they both have to have the Seahawks lose. The over-under is 49 points in that game, so they are expecting a big offensive production. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think so. I would take the over there, and I'm going to roll with Detroit.
Okay.
Betting wise too. They have come in strong for me, so I'm going to go with Detroit on this one.
I know they were against the spread. They were doing phenomenal earlier in the year.
Yeah,
I know the last couple of weeks have been. It sucks to see them fall apart because I'd much rather them get in than the Packers.
Ugh, me too. But I think they'll cover the spread. They'll cover 4.5.
Gotcha. All right, Colts, Texans. So they're actually saying the Colts are favored by 2.5 in this after last week's disaster. And the over/under there is 38. You think the Colts have it in them to even try it anymore?
I don't know. Both these. You know what? I actually wouldn't bet this game.
Yeah, they might even black that game out. I don't even know if the players would care to show up at that point. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't touch it. If there's one game on this slate I'm not touching, that's the one. Because you know what? Those two teams will mess around, and it'll be like somehow everyone's scoring a ton of points. I don't know. No. Of
course. It'll be like the greatest game of two crappy teams that ever played each other.
Pretty much.
Rams, Seahawks by 6.5, which that's a big spread. If they win that, they get into the playoffs. And then over under is 41.5.
I'm gonna go under. Go under on that one. And that's a lot of points. So I'm gonna take take the points on that one. Take the 6.5.
Sounds good. The Rams stuck in the Super Bowl hangover of the century. I have never seen anything like it.
It's quite a hangover. Like, what have they been drinking? My God.
Nikki, I think they're still partying right now, to be honest with you. I think they go out after getting crushed by crappy teams and just say, it's like, well, I mean, we did win the Super Bowl last year. I mean, let's just enjoy ourselves.
And I was like, screw it.
Yeah, screw it. I mean, and honestly, Nikki, I'll be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
It's a very honest take. When the Giants win the Super Bowl, I don't really care as much the next year. And even the year after that, it takes me a second to get back up to speed. Then I care again. But like, I remember 2 years after 2013, the Giants like started off 0-6. And I was just like, well, you know, I'm a year and a half removed from the Super Bowl. It's fine. I can live with this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care. Like, if we win the Super Bowl this year, I don't give a shit what next year looks like.
No.
They could not win a game, and I'd be like, whatever.
No, absolutely. We would just come on this podcast and talk about talk about random stuff. We wouldn't care anymore.
No, I wouldn't care. I mean, you won a freaking Super Bowl, which, you know what? Don't count us out, because I seem to remember a 9-7 team that did, pretty damn good. So don't count us out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm with you. Get past Minnesota and let's just see what happens, because if they find some way to game plan for Philadelphia, that would be tremendous. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. I'm just so excited. Like, I just can't stand it. So I'm so excited. I'm excited for tonight's game, though. I think
Me too.
This is going to be a hell of a game. I know you're exhausted, but are you going to make it? Can you stay awake for this game or no? No.
I'm going to go right to bed after this. Again, I actually thought there was a day in between the Giants game and today. I drew a mental blank when I was talking to Kelly. I'm like, 2 days ago at the game. I'm like, wait, that game was yesterday. I'm brain fried right now, but the cheapest flight was obviously the 6 a.m. one. So,
well, you know what? Good thing the thing is, it's like, Newark to Chicago. It's not a bad flight. It's when you fly into O'Hare and sit in that Chicago traffic is a pain in the ass. That's the problem.
Right. I got here. I mean, the plane took off so early that I lost an hour coming this way.
Right.
And I got it. I got to my apartment by 9:50. I walked in with a coffee. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's still this is what time I would wake up, and I've already been up for 6 hours.
Yes, I know. This is the thing. Like, sometimes at travel, it's like 8 hours before you even can settle in your hotel or get home or whatever. You're like, God, I've already been up for 12 hours. Ridiculous. Well, I know your brain is fried, so you go sleep. I'm gonna watch Bills Bengals. My boy Joe Burrow. I got him. He's Burrow and Jamar Chase in my other fantasy league in the playoffs. So I've got them left to go. So let's hope that they have a big game for me.
All right, Nikki. Well, I'm hoping for the best for you. Obviously, we have the Giants Eagles coming up, but next week, let's just talk about how our championships in fantasy rolled around, because I'm finishing up here too, but I want to keep my results a surprise. And then you and I will talk next week. How does that sound, Nikki?
Yep, sounds good. I apologize to everyone. Hopefully my Wi-Fi is better next week. And we'll see you guys Monday.
We'll see you guys Monday. And real quick, Jay Ferries, I see it. Mike, your dad looks like a movie star. Thank you. He's going to appreciate that comment. Everybody, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Tudo, we can't wait to have you back in the East Coast, man. Giants fans and all NFL fans.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. Have a great evening.
See you next week.
Take care, everybody.